Okay, so we're going to continue on with polishing our animation. So once you've blocked out your whole scene, we need to go back to our preferences and now um, make our preferences, our tangents back to auto. So I'm going to go to preferences, I'm going to go to animation, and I'm going to go to where it says default in. I'm going to go to auto, and I'm going to go to auto as well. Auto span legacy. So both of them. I'm going to hit save. And now nothing's happening just yet. I'm going to switch my workspace to animation. It's already there, but in case you haven't, right here at the top, make sure your workspace is back to animation. And down here at the bottom, I have my graph editor, which is what I'm going to be using for most of this. For all of it, what am I saying? I'm going to drag select all of my controls. And you'll see all your graph lines here. Do not be alarmed. I assure you some of these are all 0 and some of them are moving only slightly for certain points. So it all depends on your movement. So I recommend, like I said before, keeping it simple. I'm gonna drag select all of the keyframes here, which are the little notches. And up here at the top of my graph editor, so right under the word help, you'll look for a graph, a tangent shape with the letter A, and that is auto tangent. So I'm going to select that, and then you'll add some handles now, but fear not. Let's see what this is doing now. There we go. Oh, I see. My settings to show the handles, even if they're not selected, which I kind of don't like when, because it is daunting looking at this. So let's see, under view, I think I can change it. Lies and fairy tales. So let me go back to my windows and preferences one more time before we start cooking here, as you kids say. I'm going to go back to settings and preferences and then preferences. And then under animation, let me see. Okay, it might not be here. Maybe it's with this version of Maya. Um, at view. Okay, on active keys. There we go. So under view, I knew it. Under view, you're going to go to tangent and then only show it on active keys. So whatever you have selected, whenever you click on a keyframe, then it should show you the handle. So then, again, this is visually easier to look at. Um, okay, so now the best way as far as polishing, the first thing to do is do a pass of your graph editor. Sorry, not a pass of your graph editor. Do a play blast of what you have as is. Um, like I said before, I'm going to unlock this real quick, my camera. I said it in the last video that I just want a little bit more space at the top. So now I'm going to lock it back again. And I'm going to right click on the timeline. I'm going to do a pass. I'm going to make this polish 001. So now I know what this version is. I'm going to hit apply. And since I've already set up my settings for Maya as far as making a play blast, I should be fine with not having to go back and do all the same things I did before. Okay, let's see how this looks. Hmm? Oh man, I am not gonna lie. This pass was pretty solid. I've liked the first half. I may go back and just clean up the graph line, but there's nothing as far as actually lies. I always like the it's this turn, always the turn. That's not as bad as last time. And then it's just this. I think the anticipation's a little too quick. Okay. I think I should hold this out. I need to hold out the poses a little bit more and then make the transitions to the next pose a little bit faster. I think that's my critique here. Um, so to do that, I'm going to go into each, start with the base control. So this one, not the master control, because that's just movement as far as where you're going to place the character. So we're going to start at this base control. And I'm going to go to the graph editor and see what's going on from uh, shot to shot, from pose to pose. So, okay, you can kind of see here that there's already this pattern going on. So I'm going to adjust this slightly. Let's see. I'll keep it as is there. And then the same thing here, we see almost this pattern here. And so I'm just going to exaggerate it a little bit and scrub through it. Okay, I actually like it going up instead of down there. And then here, this is fine. I might just bring up this just so we ease into this. So there's still some slight movement there. Same thing here. Some of these poses, what I might do is drag select here. So this curvature, so I'm going to just move all the keyframes so that way nothing's offsetting just yet. So slight movement. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag select this keyframe, move it, shift, move to the left by 2 frames. 1, 2. See how that looks. And then do the same thing for this section here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually drag select all of these. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to do it by 4 frames, so that way it's a, yeah. And then here, I'm going to drag select from that anticipation, so that curl in and out. I'm going to make this a little bit more than 2 frames because I think that's all I have here. So shift, click, 1, 2. Let's see how this looks. So I'm going to press play and see how this looks. And then I think it's just the curling. So I'm going to go back to the base control now and just keep cleaning up what's going on in the graph line. So to move a handle, let's say I want to adjust the motion of the handle. I'm going to click on the keyframe and click and hold on the handle. And then you'll just drag it up or drag it down. And then just note that whatever one handle does, the other handle follows. I keep them, unless something's hitting a wall, I keep them pretty much unbroken. They stay unified. And I'll do the same thing. We'll go to rotate Y. Let's start here. And if ever you want to just zoom in into a section of the graph line, drag select the keyframes you want to focus on and press F, and so then you can get a clearer picture of what's going on in the graph line. So here, it says twist, a hold, and then it moves this way. So what I'm actually going to do is bring this down. So we're easing into this pose. Might bring this a little higher. Yeah. And not much does, again, the Y is the twist motion, so it's really only for that first portion of the um, for the scene. Same thing here. Much of the tilt is again with that initial movement. But what I will do is just give a slight. See how this looks. Okay, and then we'll go on to the next one. So we're going to do a pass on all of this. Let's go to rotate X. So there's a little bit of a wobble here, and it's not that there's some offshoot going on. So what I will do is maybe bring this motion up. We'll delete this keyframe if we don't need it. Just take this keyframe too. Okay, let's drag and see what's. So maybe here, we're holding it out. Okay, everything else here, for the most part, is not. So we'll go to rotate Y, and we'll do another pass here. Okay, and then we'll get rotate Z. So what I might do is bring this key frame up because it was just doing a weird tilt. Yeah. let's look at rotate X for the elbow control. Okay, so this is where a lot of action is going on. So let's go here, press F. We'll scrub through, see if there's anything we can also just... Alright, so I'm just going to actually bring this down so it almost does a scoop. And maybe bring this a little higher. There we go. Scrub through that. Let's look at what's going on here. Okay. Might delete this keyframe just to clean up how it transitions. Might insert a keyframe to ease into that pose. So I'm going to press I and click. See how this looks. Yeah. Everything else looks fine for the most part. And again, I'll do another pass. It's not, I urge you to do more than one pass when cleaning up, and always just take a break, do a play blast, write notes of what you want to check off of what needs fixing. Do only those check offs, and then save it, increment and save, take a break, then do another play blast, do the same thing again. And that's how you keep improving upon it. So last one is the wrist control. So this one has a lot more going on. So here I might see if this is needed. Yeah, so not really. So let's go here. This keyframe is kind of out of place, so this will clean up more if I just delete some of the keyframes and then actually let me undo that one. Keep that one and then delete this one. Yeah. Delete this. Let's go through here. Okay, sorry for the silence. Let's go. Okay. Because I'm just looking at, I move the values by dragging this up or down and looking at how this looks on camera as I do that. So, just trying to see if, okay. Okay, so then we'll look at rotate Y and then the claw channel. Okay, there's not much movement going on in twist there. Same thing here. Can delete and see how this looks. Yeah. And there's not much tilt going on. So I think we're good there. And then we'll just look at how this is looking for the claw channel. Okay. Okay, so let's do another pass and see how this looks. So I'm right click, option box, and then just give this a new name. I hit apply. All right, let's take a look at it. All right, I'm not. Oh, this actually looked better than I had anticipated. So I'm gonna pause it here, and I'll make like a separate video as far as the secondary animation of the cylinder, and then also I'll make a separate one of like if you wanted to do a pick up an object or anything of that kind. Um, that'll be its own video, just so not to convolute this one too much. But yeah, so this is working towards polish.